Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you taking time to carve out some time today and join us. This is the regular scheduled meeting of the board, the Collection Service Board. We'll go ahead and call it to order. Let me go ahead and establish quorum. Let me go ahead and do roll right quick. Josh Holden.
Present.
Greg Swirsky.
Present.
Great. Chip Hellman.
Present.
Jason Hill. And Tony Zikovich.
Here.
We're getting a little bit of background. If everybody can just put their mics on mute until you have to speak, that'd be great. Sorry, it's a little bit of inconvenience having to remember to keep hitting back and forth, toggling back and forth. But unfortunately, until we're back together, we'll have to just make the best of it. All right, we have quorum for the statement of necessity. Let me go ahead and let me first of all read the notice of meeting into the record, and then we'll do the statement of necessity. Notice of this April 7th, 2021 meeting of the Collection Service Board, including date, time, and location, has been noticed on the website since January 13th, 2021. Additionally, this month's agenda has been posted on the website since March 31st, 2021. For the statement of necessity, as you know, with all of our remote meetings, we have to read that into the record and then get that filed over there to the Secretary of State's office within the next couple of days. And then, of course, all of our votes, anytime remotely, will also be a roll call voice vote as well. According to TCA 844-108B2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, the governing body must file such determination of necessity, including the recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it was based, with the Office of Secretary of State no later than 2 working days after the meeting. Furthermore, TCA 844-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting require timely action by the body, that physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is a regular scheduled meeting for the Collection Service Board, and the purpose of today's meeting with the members attending by WebEx is to discuss the agenda on the website earlier. We'll need to get that filed, but we'll need to do so after a vote. Do we have a motion to accept the statement of necessity?
So moved by Chip.
Thank you, Chip. We have a motion by Chip Hellman. Do we have a second?
Second, Swirsky.
Thank you, sir. A second by Greg Swirsky for roll call vote. Josh Holden.
Aye.
Greg Swirsky.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
Tony Zikovich.
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you. That's we'll get that filed and taken care of for the agenda. If that looks like that will represent what we're going to be discussing today. Of course, keep in mind we have new business if there's anything additional that we need to add. But if that looks like that'll work for everyone today, we'll just need a motion to approve that. Of course, any edits are welcome as well.
Motion to approve, Hellman.
All right, thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second, Swirsky.
All right, thank you, sir. For roll call vote then, to follow the agenda as written, Josh Holden.
Aye.
Greg Swirsky.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
Tony Zikovich.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, January minutes then. Does anyone have any changes, edits, revisions, or any comments in regards to the minutes? All right, hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
So moved, Hellman.
All right, thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second by Josh.
All right, thank you, Josh Holden. For roll call vote, Josh Holden.
Aye.
Greg Swirsky.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
Tony Zikovich.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll get that taken care of and published on the website. For the director's report then, let's move on to the budget. This, of course, is for informational purposes only. No vote required here. Of course, I'll entertain any questions that you have as well. But you've seen this, of course, familiar with the format. We went, of course, over the reserve last meeting. We also covered the months through October. So primarily the trend analysis for this fiscal year will be limited in focus and view to November through January primarily. As you know, November, December is a big renewal period for us. So we generally see an uptick in licensing revenue. So nothing outstanding or I guess outside the ordinary there. We're tracking about where we would like to be. And as we continue to build the reserves, we'll of course have to address that. We do have fiscal and accounting looking at all of our programs to determine what we need to have in reserves. And then if we have an excess of that, then of course we'll attack that through probably fee decreases. We are removing the solicitor card fee, so we probably will see a reduction in revenue here very soon. We'll probably also reallocate more staffing cost or expense to this program. This program so far has not been carrying probably what it should be in that regard, but that's because at first, if you recall, a couple years ago, when we had a lot of legal cost backs, we wanted to sort of have at least 1 or 2 years of sort of normal trending where in the surplus where we knew that we could continue to put the appropriate proportional administrative cost to this program as appropriate. So it looks like we're at a good place to do that, especially and we're not going to go too much more than what is absolutely necessary, but so I think we're going to level out much of that, but I'll keep you abreast of anything, any changes there or updates or any concerns in regards to the budget. Everything, if you look to the historical trends below, uh, pretty closely mirror much of that. So I didn't see anything on for these last 3 months or even this fiscal year that just stood out. I mean, that required an additional review. The expense report, all of that looked like that was trending pretty normally without any sort of outstanding items requiring that extra scrutiny. But of course, I always welcome your questions and your comments in regard. That's all I really have for the budget. Right now, we're looking at 53,000 in surplus. Only got about, let's see, about 5 more months left on this fiscal year. But we're looking at overall year-end balance of 938,000. And these months look like they're trending about where they need to be. Any questions, comments? Okay, we did the deep dive last week, or excuse me, last meeting. So I probably won't dig into here unless y'all had any other comments. All right, let's move on then. Election of officers. According to 6220-104E, the board shall annually select from its members a chair, vice chair, and secretary. No member of the board shall hold more than one such office. The current, just for your information, the current officers, our vice chair would be Chip Hellman, our secretary, Josh Holden, and our chair is currently vacant. As you know, that was Bart Howard, and once his term ended, that seat was vacated. So there's no prohibition on consecutive terms, unlike other programs. So you're free to select whoever you like in those 3. We just have to select somebody for each of those positions per statute. So I would welcome any nominations for each of those. Let's just start with the chair. Is there any nominations for a chair?
If it will accept, I would nominate Chip Hellman as the chair. This is Josh Holden.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Chip as chair. And then if we can, unless there's any objections, I'd like to just take each position based on nominations and then do a vote on all of them at once. So chair, right now we have Chip Hellman. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Okay. Vice chair? Have any nominations for vice chair?
Nominate Greg Swirsky.
All right. Thank you, Chip. Greg for vice chair. Okay. And then secretary. Do you have any nominations for secretary?
I nominate Josh for that position.
All right, Josh. All right. So as it stands right now, we have nominations for Chip Hellman as chair, Greg Swirsky as vice chair, and Josh Holden serving another term as secretary. If that would be the will of the board, we'll just need a motion to accept those nominations. Do we have such a motion?
So moved. This is Josh.
All right, thanks, sir. Do we have a second?
Second Swirsky.
All right, thank you, Mr. Swirsky. All right, for roll call vote, Josh Holden,
Aye.
Greg Swirsky,
Aye. Aye.
Chip Hellman,
Aye.
Tony Zikovich.
Aye.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll get that published on the website. Thank you for helping us satisfy that statutory requirement. I think we're ready. And just for one other item, it's not on the agenda. It's just really an informational item. As you know, we've been discussing NMLS onboarding for some time. We've since determined that that will require, well, the best path forward will be a statute, a change in statute, which will require a departmental bill. Then subsequent to that will be a rules for us. So instead of trying to do it by rule, we're just going to do that by departmental bill. That seems to be the best way forward. That's how financial institutions has done that, and it seems to be the most efficient and clear path forward. So I'll keep you abreast of those changes or any updates as those become available. But just wanted to loop you in right quick, or what our path forward is in regards to that.
What does that do, Glenn, for the timeline of getting that implemented?
Mhm. Well, as you know, with all things, there's a review process. It's really the more direct path. Rules are coming under more scrutiny. Yeah, I think probably this year and even probably the last couple years than they have prior. And so we're really the best path is just through statute. Not that they have less scrutiny, but it seems like there's a much more clear path. We want to make sure that, and I think rightfully so. I think the scrutiny is appropriate. You want to make sure that rules aren't becoming more cumbersome or over regulatory or burdensome than what the statute was intended. So I think that's rightly placed. But the statute really seems to kind of keep things, it will expedite things. So, if we were to get it through departmental bill in June, probably the beginning of next to middle of next year, we're looking at those being effective. So really the timeline doesn't really change anything for the timeline, except for sort of make it a little bit less cluttered. And so and it sort of brings things in sort of a business continuity that'll really be beneficial to the board writ large.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. But yeah, we're looking. It'll be a process. It'll be, if everything goes well, middle to maybe even as late as into next year. So it's not going to happen overnight for sure. All right, thank you. Any more questions? All right, I think we're ready for the legal portion. Hugh?
Yes, sir. We're on the legal report.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. I think the legal report's been provided to everyone beforehand. So if you had a chance to look at that and came up with any questions, be sure to let me know. Otherwise, I will hang back and wait for Glenda.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Typically, as you guys know, we always try to field all your questions first, and then as we work through each of that, then we go over the legal report itself with any of those changes, so that we could just take it all in one vote.
Yeah, at the end of everything, if all goes smoothly, I will read the plate numbers and the recommendation and the record, just so it's clear for everyone.
Thank you, Hugh. Does anyone have any particular cases that just sort of jumped out at them that they need further information on or would like to discuss?
Hugh, this is
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Hugh, Josh Holden here. The only one I had a question about was And if maybe you could give us a
Number 7.
color, yeah, a little color on that one, and maybe where the type of fine might be appropriate. Thanks.
I'm getting a little bit of feedback, but number 7,
That was
Is
the
that
one,
the-
yes.
that was the one. Okay. Well, as far as I know, based on reading the complaint, it seems to be almost more of a dispute between the parties. So I don't know if there's a violation per se, because all that's going on here is based on the complaint, mind you, the complainant is alleging that the respondent continues activity even though the complainant has requested them to stop. There really wasn't much documentation set forth there. So the best and most relevant recommendation I could come up with would simply be a letter of instruction, which would give us some authority to step in and hopefully notify the respondent of what's going on. And we can send it via certified mail and make sure that the respondent gets it, and then go from there. And hopefully it resolves that issue.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Thanks for clarifying.
Oh, no problem. Let me know if you have any more questions.
Josh, did you have any questions on any of the rest of the report?
I did not. The rest of it looked pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Chip, did you have any follow-up questions?
Well, I don't really think it's questions. Maybe it is. I know in years past, these legal reports have been longer, and I don't want that actually, but I was wondering if because of COVID-19 or if the activity has been less, or have we just been more efficient at resolving these at the administrative level so that the board doesn't have to see them? Is there any change to how we're doing? I mean, these reports are great, not having, 8 or 10 or 12 items, but I can remember the day, at times there were 30 or 40 items or so forth.
No, to your point, Chip, and you're right. We were hemorrhaging money on the legal cost backs in about, I think, 2018. That's another reason why we didn't allocate the appropriate levels of staffing for collection service board, because we had a hole in our bucket, with the legal cost backs, because as you said, the reports did have a lot more on those, and so at the billable hour, you can really run up quite a bill. But we are handling those with a little bit more efficiency. One, we have agreed citation schedule that was approved by the board. So, those that fall into that category are automatically dispatched and taken care of. Those that fall within our SOP, just following our SOP and not referring stuff to legal that are outside of our jurisdiction. That's helpful. Billing disputes, things like that, things that aren't under the purview of the regulatory scope of the board, is saving us time and then therefore money. So, we're really doing a better job at going over these reports and making sure that we're only referring those things that are within our regulatory scope, or that fall outside of those other sort of administrative authority levels that were provided to us by the board.
Okay, great. That's what I was hoping you were going to say, and that you guys are just handling more without the need of the legal team. So, yeah, this is great. And then the only other comment I have is I do like the way you've handled the bond issue. I know we discussed that some last meeting or a couple meetings ago. But for example, just getting rid of number 10, because you've done the research and you can't even find this company anymore. But I just think you've used good judgment on like 4, 9, and 10, which are all bond issues. So
I appreciate it.
I like what I see here.
All right. Well, thank you for your comment. Yeah, for the represent number 10, I think if, being that this particular respondent has a license, we could probably pursue it based on that because we do have some jurisdiction over the license, assuming we can get, proper service. Uh, the issue there is I looked into it, and by all appearances, these folks are not in business anymore. Not just in our state, but just not in business, period. And there's really not much we can do there. So that was my recommendation, would be to, represent this and make sure that the board approve that, to go ahead and close this one out based on, we sort of exhausted all remedies on this one.
Yeah, and why spend good money after bad to chase down a business that probably has nothing and long gone? So I like what you did.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments, Chip. And I know legal works really hard to address those patterns. So thank you too, Hugh.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely.
All right. Unless there's any other comments, I think we're ready to read these numbers and your recommendations into the record.
Okay, you bet. Complaint number 1, 2020-089-861. The recommendation, consent order for $250 and authorization for formal hearing in violation of TCA 62-20-105A, unlicensed activity. Complaint number 2, 2020-090-891. Recommendation, close. Complaint number 3, 2021-002831. Recommendation, close. Complaint number 4, 2021-011381. Recommendation, letter of warning. If proof of a renewed bond is provided within 30 days, otherwise consent order with a $250 civil penalty, proof of bond, and authorization for formal hearing. Complaint number 5, 2021-01257. Recommendation, close. Complaint number 6, 2021-012031. Recommendation, close. Complaint number 7, 2021-002761. Recommendation, letter of instruction for respondent to discontinue collection activity based on the complainant's request. Complaint number 8, 2021-017991. Recommendation, close. Complaint number 9, 2021-011391. Recommendation, close. And to the represents, complaint number 10, 2020-075871. The prior recommendation was a letter of warning if a proof of renewed bond is provided within 30 days, otherwise consent order with a $250 civil penalty, proof of bond, and authorization for formal hearing. Based on the new information provided, the new recommendation is closed.
All right. If that is the will of the board, we'll just need a motion in that regard. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Swirsky.
All right. Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second by Josh.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Holden. Got a motion by Mr. Swirsky and a second by Mr. Holden for roll call vote. Josh Holden,
Aye.
Greg Swirsky,
Aye.
Chip Hellman,
Aye.
Tony Zikovich.
Aye.
All right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. That leaves us with our remaining item, which is new business. Do we have any new business that anyone would like to discuss? All right. Looks like this is going to be short and sweet. With us having to move the NMLS item, I knew that this one might be one for the record book. So that's good. You guys are efficient, and we were able to take care of this quickly and appropriately. So thank you so much for all your efforts. So I think the only thing we have remaining then is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Josh Holden. We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Sure, Swirsky.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Swirsky. For roll call vote then, Josh Holden,
Aye.
Greg Swirsky,
Aye.
Chip Hellman,
Aye.
and Tony Zikovich.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned, and gentlemen, thank you for all your work and effort on the front end. And I know you make these go so well.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you, Glenn. Have a great day, guys.